You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV Saturday Night Live After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's SNL After Show.
Bing is for doing, and we're doing another AFTERBUZZ After Show for Saturday Night Live for the January 26th episode, hosted by Adam Levine, musical guest Kendrick Lamar.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we had a
sir.
good one, sort of,
Right.
sometimes, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm your host, Matthew Kyle, and with me is, as always, it almost seems, is Stephen Seidel.
As almost seems, as much as I can make it happen, which is usually always, sometimes with an exception.
That's right. We're missing two souls today. Keaton, she's doing something for the SAG Awards. Which is going right now.
She just texted me. I was trying to get a photo of Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, from last week, yeah.
To show you that she was in love with you, but she wasn't able to get one. So.
Well, I already know she's in love with me, but
Yeah.
physical evidence would help.
And Philip is in the process of moving, so.
Yeah, a little personal issue.
Yeah.
We'll call it a personal day.
A personal day. It's raining outside. They say it never rains in Los Angeles.
Or Southern California, as the song goes.
Oh,
If
okay.
you're a Tony fan.
Has done it again. Feels good.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Throwing it back.
Hey, there it is.
Late 20s. Here we are.
All right. Welcome.
Wow. Hey, who else is in their late 20s? Adam Levine. Perfect segue.
Oh, there it was. And
Yep.
he did a good job. I was pretty pleased, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a reasonable episode. It was a step up from last week, so I was excited to see some positive sketches, some good stuff to talk about today. So guys, make sure you rate us and let us know your feedback on iTunes and what your thoughts were.
Most definitely, and check us out on YouTube. If you watch us on YouTube, please comment. We love your comments, and we always take them to heart and try to improve the show. And please check out other shows of the AFTERBUZZ family, because they always have a bunch of good stuff going on and a lot of great hosts around here.
Tweet us at AFTERBUZZ TV.
right.
Boom.
That's
on
right.
Twitter.
And
Tweet.
And continue to love us from afar.
Yes.
That's what we like.
Or from near if you're in LA. But
That's right.
overall, I thought it was a pretty decent show. I
Yeah.
had some laugh out loud moments. I had some times where, I got a little distracted and it was a little, here and there. But I think overall, out of 10, I would give it about a 7.
Okay.
7, which last week we were about maybe a 5 or 6. So we're moving up in the world. I'm pleased with that.
And is your rating affected at all by how poorly last week kind of seemed to go?
A little bit, it's nice just to see something come off a little bit. And it was also, I guess, last week wasn't the greatest, but, on a clean slate, I just think it was a pretty decent episode. It wasn't one of the best, but I enjoyed myself with a bunch of the sketches.
Right, yeah. I thought it was much better. I thought Adam Levine was very strong right out of the gate.
He was good.
Yeah, very comfortable. And a lot more comfortable just for a non-actor type, definitely a musician. And he's on The Voice now, so obviously he has to do a little bit of acting.
Some stage play.
Exactly.
I've watched him in
presence.
American Horror Story, and he wasn't the greatest performer, so I was a little skeptical. And just to see him step up a little bit, he really fell into some of his characters, the more feminine characters, if you will. It seemed like he excelled at. But he's more of the typical poster child for metrosexuality.
Didn't they kind of came around like 2005, right when that was kind of at its apex,
Yeah. So
Queer Eye was like on the way out, but we were like, hey, we're still doing our nails.
Yes,
right, Stephen?
Definitely.
We're still doing
if you
our
can
nails.
see that, we have, for you viewers at home, we have the little clear gloss, a little bit of dirt underneath there, but that means I'm a hard worker, but I care about my looks.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate
and obviously
that.
he cares about his looks because he took his shirt off, and I feel like that's the 3rd time now we've seen that. We saw that with Channing Tatum, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and now we've seen a recurring trend here. These guys want to take their shirts off.
Obviously, the oddball out there is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, though, because nobody's really begging for that. Like, he's a
No.
very likable guy, but he's in that Tom Hanks category where it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
what
I
are we
mean,
doing
Shia
here?
LaBeouf, Tom Hanks, they're all in that little category. Well, you'll accept it. You're not going to get mad at it. But Adam Levine, you heard the ladies going wild in the crowd. I know that my sister's a big fan of his, so I haven't talked to her, but I know that she probably TiVo'd it and put it on pause for a minute or two. But
Well, he's a good-looking guy, I can tell you that.
yeah, he was
And,
doing it.
yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's a complete 7 out of 10.
Oh, we agree. I like
We
that.
agree,
I
which
like-
is like never happens.
Hold on, I'm going to open that book. We are on the same page. There
Okay.
it was.
I thought you were going to go to Richard Marx' Hold On to the Night for a
Oh.
second, but you didn't.
We're
so.
a throwback music show here.
Throwback music show.
But the opening monologue, we expected him to be doing some singing, which he did, but wasn't in the opening, and I appreciated that
Right,
he
so
wasn't
Philip
singing.
owes us a little something, I think.
Yeah,
Because
he-
Philip guaranteed singing.
He guaranteed. So the next time he comes back, we got something for him. If you guys want him to do anything special, or you have a dare for him to do, and Steve will do it, send us a little
That's
message.
right. That'll be February 9th when we come back with the Bieber.
The Bieber.
The
because-
Bieber, but
Yeah, the opening monologue was good. We saw the voice. Someone called that. I think Keaton called that. So she wins a couple bonus points if she ever decides to come back. I don't know if we scared her away or not, but it was nice to have a female presence.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So, but the opening monologue was. What did you think of the opening monologue,
You
Mr.
know,
Kyle?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was really fun, and it's always it's an easy win when you bring in surprise guests.
Of course.
So
yeah.
it's like the material can suffer, but you're like, oh, that's Cameron Diaz. I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, and then when Jerry Seinfeld, I was like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
because that's one that I actually really dig. So, and he's so off the radar most of the times doing his own thing that when
Yeah.
he shows up on something mainstream, you're like, really?
The big reveal of when the chairs turn around, Andy Samberg as well coming back, and
Yes,
this
yeah.
is something I talked about last week, which I think is vital, hit that T, to the success of SNL, is bringing on some of these cameos and really infusing themselves with pop culture and some of the people that SNL fans have grown to love and
Sure.
come accustomed to. So that was
Sure, and-
definitely a great move.
And compared to any other sketch shows that are on TV right now, they have that going for them because no other sketch shows are really getting that type of caliber performers, A-listers to come in and drop in and
Yeah.
have a little fun. So that is definitely the ace in their back pocket.
The cameos are extremely important. Andy Samberg had a couple funny jokes about how he was in 2 live sketches, which I thought was pretty funny because you very rarely saw him in sketches. But lo and behold, we'll get to him a little bit later, won't we?
We certainly will.
Hey,
I
you
mean,
wait for it. Wait for it, listeners and viewers. We'll get
That's
there.
right, because another person you rarely see in sketches is Jay Farrow.
Oh, Jay Farrow. Oh, see, I was a little late on that
It's your
one.
boy.
Yeah, he was in quite a few. Bobby Moynihan was in tons. Keenan, they brought him up into the forefront.
Yeah, so we had the opener of Obama and,
Yeah.
and MLK, the ghost of MLK, if you will.
That
coming
was
back.
kind of funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And the way that they were talking about the presence of blacks in pop culture kind of reminded me a little bit of the Jamie Foxx episode because that seemed to be all about like racial tension and current blacks in entertainment. But I thought that was very well written. Kenan Thompson did a good job. He didn't fall into his traditional Kenan Thompson isms.
No, he actually did a little bit of a voice and a little bit of a character there. I thought that was, I appreciated that. And it was very Obama weak. Like, he almost did nothing
Yeah.
after, his first 2 lines. It was mostly just like, okay,
Yeah.
look.
There was a funny joke there that Kenan Thompson had about blacks being able to perform magic. And I thought for a moment there, I was like, are there any black magicians? And I don't really think that
There's
there
got
are.
to be one. I've seen an Indian magician.
Okay.
But that's
if you guys
not
know of any
enough.
black magicians that can make rabbits disappear, and
That's true. That was my favorite joke, I think, of the whole episode.
Yeah.
Just because you did do that. You're like, what?
yeah,
Oh my God, there aren't any. Why aren't there black magicians?
and it made you just think for a moment and really take a second to just really get down deep as far as the existence of black culture. But it was nicely done, and I appreciated that. The monologue was good. I think Adam Levine, he was so-so. He's probably about a 6 or 7 out of 10 overall as well, his overall performance. They did give him an opportunity to really explore some characters, which was great. He was a little contingent upon the cue cards, which that was really a crutch for him.
Which surprised me because in that opening monologue, he didn't seem phased at all. He
Yeah.
seemed sans cue cards, and he was very comfortable, and he seemed like he was ad-libbing.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, he's like really on top of this and very, very comfortable and has a great stage presence.
Ripping your shirt off in front of everybody, very comfortable on stage.
Sure.
It was seamless. It seemed like we were going to have a great show. Being stuck on the cue cards a little bit. He also did seem a little, I don't want to say arrogant, but it just seemed to be like that he was maybe smug is a better term, but just kind of like, hey, I'm Adam Levine, what's up? I can kind of do anything. He's not going to reach Justin Timberlake, but I would give him, you know, overall an A for effort for sure.
Well, I would do that. And then let's get back to Justin Timberlake a little bit, because that's the obvious comparison here. You have the musical background and then kind of switching over, and maybe he'll do acting, and maybe this is just where he wants to take it just for a little bit of fun. But Justin Timberlake, everybody treats like, oh my God, he just became an actor. The guy was on Mickey Mouse Club and when he was doing sketch comedy, and then he goes on a sketch comedy show when he's an adult. He's been through acting classes and training his whole life. His whole life has been a, you know,
he can do it all.
Guy.
He's kind of the it guy these days, and like Philip suggested, he's got a new album out, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in a cameo or coming up in a couple, maybe even in the Bieber episode, because Bieber is kind of like a little mini JT, which, you know, that'll be interesting to see as well. But yeah, the opening was great, the monologue was great, and then going into the Rosetta Stone commercial.
Yeah, our first commercial, a break.
I thought that was really funny, where you know, they were learning a foreign language and they were learning Thai, which was notorious for pedophilia. Which obviously you got that one correct.
Pedophilia? I thought they were just going for more just the Asian hooker route, is what I thought they were going.
Well, there was a couple guys. There was the guy
like, they looked nasty.
No, but they're notorious for little boys in Thailand, that people go and try and pick up little boys. But also,
is that right?
Yeah,
I did not know
the
that.
older Bobby Moynihan played the guy who was more of the pedophile with the hair stroking across, and then the one guy who had his face blurred out. Those are all pedophilia. Pedophiles,
so is that why it said extra small condoms?
That would be it, sir.
Oh.
See, now you get it. But I thought that was really well done. Extra small jimmies. Can I have jimmies with that? You sure can.
Well, now I don't know how I feel about it. I feel a little gross inside.
You feel a little bit gross, but they, you know, SNL seems to be pushing the envelope a little bit, maybe a little too, you know, dick and fart, but it was pretty funny. It was a nice button at the end. I need to speak with the embassy. That was the button of the commercial. I read something recently about the Starbucks and the Rosetta Stone. It seems to be a lot of the pre-taped commercials are going over a little bit better with the audiences, so maybe they'll be doing a little bit more of that in the future. But I thought that everybody in that fake commercial did a great job for sure. I've been thinking of Rosetta Stone to learn a few languages.
What would you like to learn?
French. Just, you know, when you're in Paris, you need to oui.
And you've been to Paris how many times?
I've been there once with my mom. So there you go.
14 years ago.
It's actually 8 years ago, to be exact.
It's actually 8 years ago. So you better get on that, because it's like a 10-year swing. Go to Paris.
And it's not cheap, by the way. It's about $120 in case you were interested.
What, for Rosetta Stone?
For Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, that's a really cheap Rosetta Stone. I thought it was like $400.
Okay,
for the
maybe
full, you
I'm
get the
wrong.
full set. I think you're just going for like level 1, huh?
Yeah, I'm going for level 1.
Yeah, you got
baby steps, buddy.
You got to get the level 1 to 3 package if you're gonna go to Thailand
steps.
and hook
I got to
up,
get the extra small Rosetta Stone. Is what I got to get.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And or you can download it illegally, but.
Yeah, I enjoyed that sketch, though. That was one of my favorites. What was one of your favorite sketches?
You know what? I think my favorite, and it wasn't perfect by any means. But I will say my favorite was probably the fire department fundraiser with Bryce.
You enjoyed that sketch, huh? I thought that got a little too much. It
got a little too much. Trust me.
Way too much.
It got a little too much. But I really, besides the opener, I think that was the one that the first 2 minutes of that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to go more to the fact that obviously he's gay.
Yeah.
And he has...
Second gay sketch of the night.
Exactly, which was, the theme.
I guess. It was the feminine evening.
Right. So I thought they were really going to hit the angle of like kind of challenging him on his gayness, or maybe calling him out of the closet or something, because obviously she did the joke, Nasim Pedrad's character, you know, who they dated for 2 weeks. She's like, we dated for 2 weeks, I tried to kiss you, and you threw hot tea in my face.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to play with that. And then after about a minute or two, it lost its way.
Which, by the way, if you guys don't know, gay people drink hot tea. So, and if that's incorrect statement, let me know about that.
I learned so much from you.
No, I'm just kidding. But I did like the fact that he had that huge faux fur jacket and he had that little hat on.
That was a great beat, and I enjoyed that. But when the dog attacked him, I was like, what was that?
The dog was out of left field. But to me, he's screaming and he's screaming and he's screaming. And after a while, I was just like, enough already.
Yeah, he was enjoying it,
But, you know, Bill Hader is Bill Hader, and so he can do whatever he wants at this day and age. He can just keep taking it and taking it and taking it. I actually read online, Billy Eicher, do you know who that is?
I'm not familiar, no.
I'm not quite sure who he writes for, but apparently there's a sketch out there which is beat for beat almost the same sketch concept. So if you guys look into that, I don't know if they bit it off him or what, but to me it was just
because it's not that solid of a concept that you would completely
it just went on a little too long. Like, we got it a little bit in the beginning, a few here and there, but to me it went on a little bit too long. But for me, another sketch that I like, the pre-taped sketch, I'm not a big SNL digital short fan, but I think when you can bring in the singing elements, the YOLOs, I just thought that was pretty well done. And the fact that you only live once, usually it's allowing you to do whatever you want. But now they were making it seem as if you're going to be very minimizing the risk that you're taking. But that was pretty funny. They had a lot of "you ought to look out" is what they were calling it. The YOLO, you ought to look out.
Right, I thought that was a brilliant little tag at the end to change the acronym to audio. You ought to look out.
The production value is top notch. They seem to ramp it up a little bit. I don't know if maybe since that's the first time. Do you think that they're going to continue to do these, or is that just something because Andy Samberg was there that week that they wanted to throw that in there?
I imagine that it was just something they're going to throw in there, because the one thing that I thought was interesting about that video is they had the other Lonely Island people in there, which was the classic thing that they didn't have in the digital shorts. It was just Andy Samberg. Those guys were behind the scenes, but they weren't in it. So all of a sudden it was like everybody was there.
Kendrick Lamar made an appearance as well, which is a nice little throw in there. He was rapping towards the end.
Exactly. And obviously Adam Levine doing the chorus and stuff like that. And it was extremely well done, very well polished.
My favorite part was when they cut to them and they all had no teeth. I don't know if you remember.
Right. No, I remember that part. Yeah.
That was funny to me, but it was very well written. It was entertaining. It wasn't necessarily funny, but it was entertaining, which is
that's
at the end
exactly
of the day,
how I would put it.
Let's entertain some people. So those 2 pre-taped sketches, I think really gave them a little bit of a boost as far as entertainment value goes.
Well, and it helps them. Obviously, it's not. It removes them a little bit of a pacing issue with a live sketch. A live sketch is always going to play slower because it's live.
Yeah. And
it's easy, to not be able to hit your cutaways quick enough. I mean, I think a great example of that is the Train versus Maroon 5 kind of standoff. Remember that?
Yeah, that was which, by the way, is not available online because of copyright issues. I don't know if you knew that, but so if you want to see that,
that's interesting.
You may have to ask a friend who has DVR. But it was interesting. Train was kind of a funny little gag. There were all these guys in the background. I didn't know if they were actual members of the band or they just really went gung-ho, because usually they minimize the number of background actors and extras that they feature. But there were tons of people on that sketch, and I didn't know if they were actual band members or not. Do you know it all?
When Train came in and those two guys came in,
and then
I was not sure, but I felt like those were the actual band members, because those are the actual Maroon 5 guys.
Oh,
which made sense.
So they were the actual Maroon 5 guys. Okay.
Exactly.
I didn't know if they were or they weren't, but yeah, it was fun. And Kenan Thompson again. He did a great Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. I was very surprised that it was actually a great episode for him. But the sketch in itself just kind of seemed to be, it was a one note, which is, we got the joke and them singing, and then John Mayer comes in, and it was funny, but after a while it got a little bit old. So
they were really having a lot of issues trying to keep the tension. Because it was like, they're going to fight.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, they're just having the dance off. And it's like, oh, where are you going to take this now? And then they just try to diffuse it and start over.
Yeah.
And then from that point, they were always kind of reaching and just weren't exactly getting there. And then that's when they started doing the parade of people, when they're like, hey, it's Jason Mraz. I thought that was fun for Jason Sudeikis to come in dressed like that, because he does dress like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Mraz dresses like the bottom half of him is on a beach and the top half is in Alaska.
Every time I wear a fedora hat, everybody tells me I look like Jason Mraz. I think that's basically
I think you could.
That's basically what happens. You put on a fedora, you're Jason Mraz.
Well, and if you tilt it and you have like a New York finely knit scarf around your
swagger, and the flip flops, which is funny, and the really peg leg on the jeans.
Yeah, rolled up.
But yeah, like you said, there was a little bit of conflict, but then it kind of was, high and dry and nowhere for that really to go, and then it kind of spun into a whole different game. How many other people can we impersonate?
Right, exactly.
It wasn't really clear cut as far as what the game or what the joke was, but it was fun and interesting to see, a bunch of these band.
Didn't you feel like it was going to be resolved by John Mayer? Because they all came in and they were like, oh my God, John Mayer, he's the scariest of them all, And then that just kind of, he was like, I'll just go stand over here and never say a word.
Is John Mayer notorious for being scary? I don't know. They were like, John Mayer's crazy. Maybe I don't know about John Mayer.
I don't know about John. I mean, obviously, I know the John Mayer, mythology that's out there, but it's just around women and him just kind of being a womanizer.
And he basically just gets every woman in Hollywood and then dumps them a week later. But
right, that's it.
That's pretty much all that I knew about. But I didn't. An interesting fact: John Mayer actually started out as an actor and then kind of put that away and focused on his musical career, and then
wow, so he's like Bizarro Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's fun.
Which would be interesting to see him host, maybe, or maybe not. Who knows?
You know, I don't know. I don't know where his public perception level is at this point.
Yeah, well, you know, and you could see it with the clear-cut game. It wasn't really there, but one of the ones that I did really enjoy as well was the MTV sketch spoofing the Catfish television show. Have you seen the movie?
TV show, which
Yes.
I've never seen the movie, but I've known about the TV show that they have going on MTV.
Yeah, interesting little sidebar is I went to play tennis one day with a friend of mine, and she had a friend with him, and I was like, "Hey, man, you look familiar." He was like, yeah, you probably saw this movie Catfish, and I actually played tennis with that guy. Really nice guy.
What's that guy's name?
Neve Schulman.
Oh, and he does the TV show as well.
Yeah, he does
so
the
it's
TV
that
show.
Guy.
Yeah, he was in the middle of shooting that when we were playing tennis, and his brother and his brother's partner were the guys who shot the movie, and they've gone on to since direct Paranormal Activity 4, and it was actually a great springboard for them. And it's becoming quite popular in pop culture, especially middle America. People are loving the show because the myth, and you know, especially with Manti Te'o's story of not really knowing who you're talking to.
Sure.
But there's always like 5 cameras in the shot, and then very rarely do they show you the footage. So they did a great job kind of calling out some of those jokes. And Adam Levine did a good job, I think, portraying Neve. And he was laughing a bunch of times. I didn't know if that was the character. Or if
I thought that was the character because he was trying to. It seemed like that Neve joke, you know, like thanks for sitting down with Neve.
Yeah.
Camera take. He seemed like he was losing the milking of it, and so he was just trying to laugh harder.
Yeah.
So.
And the most complex FBI search agent since FBI, and they just basically Google. But
which they missed that joke. Like the timing of that joke was off because it could have been good, but because she had a great retort to it. She's like, "Oh my God, I've never heard of that."
Yeah. Adie Bryant was great in that. She's really starting to get a little bit of momentum behind her, and it's great to see her because you can see that she's really going to be a player going forward. And then they had the moment where she was reacting, and you don't know whether she's going to have a positive or a negative reaction. And then it cut to her. What was the gentleman's name? Something Appleby? Ace Appleby.
Ace Applebee's. Would they own all the Applebee's and some of the Chili's?
Yeah, with Brian Williams' head, which was kind of funny. And then Jay Farrell came out, and it was kind of a poor little portrayal of. I guess he was just playing a guy who steals UPS packages, and Jay Farrell. I'm starting to see what Philip is saying about his performances.
Okay. Yep.
But you know, I do love his impersonation, so maybe just keep him on the impersonation train. But I mean, they gave him a lot of opportunities. He also, like, just going back real quick to the Train versus Maroon 5. Yeah. He was the sidebar. Oh and he was sitting at the table
for Vanessa's character.
Yeah.
You know, so he could go back a little for it. And he's like, I don't know if I'm on the right bar.
Yeah.
He had all these deadpans that he'd missed. Yeah. Honestly, but they gave him a lot of opportunities to play straight. Yeah. The whole episode.
I feel like he's not comfortable in his own skin, so when he just has to play himself, he can't even play himself, and so it makes it a little bit awkward, like especially those deadpan moments in the train sketch. It was almost like you don't know whether or not he knows what to do, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna try and overplay deadpan instead of just really being deadpan in certain situations.
Exactly, and I think you can cut all that and just keep one word you said, which is just being, because that's the one thing I think he's really avoiding. I don't know if it's just additional nerves or he's just not confident enough or whatever's going on, but he's just never just being in the sketch. He's never there. It's like he's always seen elsewhere. When they open up and it's Obama, it's like you can tell they're doing like 3, 2.
And he's in his head preparing. And take that for an improv performer. Obviously, you need to be living and truthful in that moment and being in position. Whereas, like Jimmy Fallon, may not have been portraying some of the characters. I'm not biting on him, but him and Horatio Sands would always laugh when they would be together.
Sure. Which
is funny. I enjoyed it when they would laugh and they were being themselves in that moment and actually being amused, which was that's gold on TV. I haven't seen too much of that. Often I see that with Bill Hader just kind of cracking himself up.
Which is a new thing. That started last season. It kind of felt like, I thought Bill Hader was going to leave too. I felt like everybody was on the way out. Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis, Andy Samberg, everybody was going to leave. And it was kind of just like, let's just goof off and have fun because it doesn't matter anymore and the teacher can't tell us what to do. Yeah. You know? And ever since then, it just seems like he gets so wound up in just being stupid as his character, again, when he would just like, shut up, shut up. They wrote 2 shut ups in there and he just like, I'm just going to keep doing it.
He just kept doing it and doing it and doing it.
And it's almost like he makes himself laugh because he's like, this is so dumb.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall after that happens if Lorne Michaels is like, all right, keep doing it, or do they, I guess they just give him the freedom to do as he pleases. Jason seems like he has that as well, but he kind of keeps it under wraps and keeps it contained a little bit, which is a nice little segue to the Biden sketch. There was a couple moments.
Another pre-taped. I think that was the last pre-taped.
That was pre-taped, and that was also very funny. He looked so much like Joe Biden. There was a point where I like looked away and came back, and I thought that he was actually on the camera. But the props to the marketing, the wardrobe and the costuming department. He looks great with those teeth and his hair. That was pretty funny as well because Joe Biden is kind of a quirky dude. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then, you know, the Neil Diamond impersonator came in, Adam Levine. He was all right. He kind of sounded a little bit like Neil Diamond, but he was no Bruno Mars. When Bruno Mars did that sketch, I mean, he was killing it as all like Green Day and everything like that. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, the Joe Biden I think is great. One thing, and I really hope, just because now the election's over and, you know, he's got 4 years, we're certain, but Jason's out of the door. You know, it was said that he was going to do half a season, and now it kind of seems like maybe he'll just stick the whole season. Who knows? Maybe he has scheduling conflicts and just will disappear one episode, and, you know, just like that Family Matters girl who went upstairs and then never came back.
Gone forever.
That's another situation. But I hope that they get Joe Biden to stop by so they can do a little one-on-one before it's over.
That would be great. I feel like that would bring a lot to the television, to the show in itself. I also think that the election, we didn't really talk about that, but the inauguration really brought a lot to the show as well because it enabled them. It seems like a lot of their political humor is almost like a crutch for them because they were doing it so long. It was almost like a tried and true that they knew they were going to get some jokes on. It's going to be interesting, like you said, as the season progresses, when they don't have that crutch and they have to really create it from scratch. There weren't too many weird sketches. I know that sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I didn't see very much Fred Armisen. He tends to be in a lot of the weird sketches, but there was one.
I don't remember seeing him ever.
He was pretty much non-existent. I don't remember seeing him in anything. Bobby Moynihan and Kenan Thompson were in tons of sketches.
And then after that, I'd say Taryn, right?
Yeah, Taryn as well. But I think the really weird one was Janet the Supermodel, which I thought was one of the worst ones. It just wasn't. It was a little weird for me.
This has been done before. He did this one with Tom Brady. He even references the bit that I slept with Tom Brady. But this is what I've heard is this was a Bobby Moynihan character from UCB because he was at UCB for like a decade. He was somebody who was there forever. And
UCB New York or LA?
Exactly, New York.
Okay, New York. Amy Poehler.
Yeah, just around the corner, and he finally got his chance on SNL. And so obviously when people come from a Groundling, Second City, UCB, they're coming pre-born with characters. Kristen Wiig, her target character, was a Groundlings thing.
Fair enough.
So everybody's always bringing things to the table that they've already done before.
Yeah, I remember meeting Chris Parnell at a party at one of the SNL after parties, and he's Groundlings. It seems like either 9 out of 10 are either from Groundlings, Second City, or UCB. It seems to be more UCB and Groundlings. Like Pee Wee Herman, for example, that was built out of Groundlings, and a lot of these real successful characters are built from there. But it just didn't seem like this one had very many legs. Seems like it may be more of a stage performance. But
maybe that's what it is. I don't know. There's just I think there's something taken away when it is a celebrity for one.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of pressure on them to perform in a layered character because they have to give reason. Like Adam has to be there, right? So he has to give purpose to be there. At the same time, he has to be the audience and realize like, why am I here? That's a very difficult character for somebody to play. So if they reversed it and he got to be Adam Levine played the crazy girl or whatever, and then you had some kind of seasoned vet who's very more comfortable with that, I think it would have been better. But again, it's Bobby Moynihan's character. I don't get it. It's okay, but it's not anything special. It's not anything original. It doesn't even feel fresh. Sometimes it feels like a 70s piece. Sometimes it feels like an 80s piece.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but he did do a pretty decent Tony Soprano, though. I mean, that was a nice little sketch there.
Right, which is another pre-recorded bit. So I mean, we had quite a few there.
Yeah, that was funny. The Carrie Diaries, I guess that's based off of Sex and the City. Would you know? Are you a Sex and City?
I'm not a Sex and the City fan, but it is basically it's the CW show, and it's the Carrie Diaries. And apparently it's set in the 80s. That's what I learned from this episode because I did not know that, which would make sense because she would have been, a kid in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, that is some weird, wild stuff. I did not know that.
I did not know.
That's what is that's like old SNL.
No, it's Johnny Carson.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Good Lord.
See, my brain is all twisted and turned. Go sit in the corner. Put your dunce cap on.
That's right.
Go be a dunce.
But yeah, so the Soprano Diaries, I thought that was a clever kind of twist on the obviously what they were making fun of there, and then putting it in the 80s. I guess because the Carrie thing was in the 80s, it also in the 80s is a great time to make fun of stuff.
And there's always fun things about being in high school because everybody can connect to being in high school and being a nerd or being in whatever it is that you were. What were you in high school? Were you the nerd? Were you the computer
No, I was
geek?
really
Were you
popular, and I like had a lot of women.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
you were the star quarterback. I can see it.
That was rough.
I could see it in the physique there.
You know, sometimes my wallet was too small for my hundreds, and my diamond shoes
Hey,
didn't fit so well.
Spending them Benjis, but everyone can get. And you know, what were you voted most likely to in high school?
Most likely to host an AfterBuzz show.
Ooh, there it was.
Yeah.
Well, you're fulfilling your dream. Pass me the passion.
Well, you know,
I like
it's
that.
kismet.
Yeah, it is kismet. But the Sopranos and Kate McKinnon did a great. I forget her name. It's escaping me. The therapist.
Tony Collette.
The therapist.
Tony Collette?
Not Tony Collette.
Okay.
That's like United States of Terror. But Lorraine Bracco or something Bracco.
Okay.
But she did a great job. Kate McKinnon, they gotta push her up a little bit more. They're not utilizing her nearly enough.
Wow, where is she?
She's MIA.
She's probably the only person I can point to. I've said it the whole season, and I started this season, if you remember, back in September 14th, I think was our first episode, and I was like the breakout star of this season.
Yep.
Kate McKinnon. And
Nasim Pedrad as well. She's. It seems like she kind of went away for a little bit. They're trying to bring her back in, but she.
All the women, honestly, are a little lost at this point. You know, A.D. Bryant is kind of like the past couple weeks, but again, all the girls, like Cecily Strong, had a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and it faded. Kate McKinnon seemed like she had a couple weeks.
Yeah,
And then Vanessa Bayer was kind of, maybe she didn't have a couple weeks, maybe a week, and then Nasim Pedrad had a couple weeks. And
I feel like Vanessa Bayer she's great. She's very talented, but I don't know that she has the opportunities, or they're not giving her the opportunities to really bring forth clear, concise characters, which are something that's lacking. But she's doing a great job maintaining the sketches and bringing.
Well, and a little side note here from personal information.
All right, bring it.
But Fred Armisen and Abby Elliott had a relationship. If you do not know about this,
I did not know that.
He was talking about it on Howard Stern, and they had a relationship for like a year after he broke up. Either he was engaged and broke up, but I think he got divorced.
From what's her face?
The Mad Men, right? Is that who she's on?
Yeah, one of the. I can't remember. She's a really popular actress.
But unimportantly, so the last season they were dating the whole time. Him and Abby Elliott. He's much older than Abby Elliott. For one, she's very young. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
And then I look at it and I'm like, well, what did Abby Elliott not have that she didn't get called back to the show that all these other women have?
Yeah.
And I was like, she actually had a little bit more legs than Vanessa Bayer and even a Nasim Pedrad. She had a couple characters. She had the Zooey Deschanel show, so she had a little more weight on her shoulders. She didn't make it. Now, obviously, he was like, you know, I wasn't kicking her off the show, and I'm sure he didn't. Maybe he's not that bad of a guy. But
there's a lesson to be learned from this. Don't dip your company pen, or don't dip your pen in company ink. Is that it?
That's close enough. I don't know.
Okay. Or don't shit where you eat.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Don't swim with Fred Armisen, or don't date a guy who's just not that attractive.
Yeah.
See, is that the other one?
Yeah, but he seems like he's really fun to hang around with. I saw him recently on The View, and he was doing his Joy Behar impersonation, and he's just really funny and weird.
Right. Well, if any of the viewers look up the article, or you can go check the Howard Stern show or whatever. But he also says that he's an awful he was awful to be married to.
Okay.
So, I mean,
he's an awful guy to be married to.
I guess so.
Self-proclaimed. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He had a lot of contrition on there. So.
Hey, thank you for your honesty. See that? Fred knows who he is, which is why probably when he does a character, he can commit to it and he can be himself.
Yeah, but my grand point here is that Abby Elliott, I was not a huge fan of, but if I had to choose my own people, I'd kick somebody else off the island. That's all I'm saying.
I think Abby Elliott, she's quirky, but I feel like Kate McKinnon is similar to her, and they're more in the position now where they're looking to fulfill these roles and these duties. It's almost like Big Brother, the real world. You have your archetypes or your people where it's almost like a chess match, and it was probably Kate McKinnon and Abby Elliott. I feel like they're kind of in the same wheelhouse. They could use a black female or a Latina female as well, but maybe that'll be next season.
Right, which I can't. The last time I remember there was a black female was early 90s, and I'm escaping her name, but she was actually really good.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph?
No, well, she's half black.
Yeah, she's
so I guess, but in the early 90s, in the golden age, as I like to call it.
Speaking of having a Latina, did you see the voice commercials that kind of came in there in between the tape commercials? That with Usher and Shakira in the back seat, and then they had Adam Levine and Blake Shelton in the front. It was basically a commercial for The Voice. And at first I saw Usher, and then I saw Shakira. I was like, who is that girl in the back seat? And finally I was able to determine it was Shakira. But I just love how they really...
because her hips were moving?
Yeah, they don't lie. I don't know if you know that,
right?
But they don't lie at all. So if she did lie, they would grow, kind of like Pinocchio's nose. So they don't lie.
Oh, that's good to know.
Hey. But yeah, so they had the Voice commercial in there. They had the voice on that as well, which was interesting. We were talking earlier about the presence of there being a lot of gay sketches. I don't want to pass over. I don't know the name. The Kenan Thompson played Tracy.
Circle Work. Tracy All-Star and Todd Anthony.
Hey, and Adam did a pretty good job at that. He really just fell into that character. And then when he got up and he did like the little dance, that was kind of funny. And he
seemed very comfortable and not completely on the cue cards. Again, it was just as the show went on, he seemed to get kind of cue card handy, more uncomfortable.
And he was like, and then it almost looked like he was.
Oh my God, is that on camera?
Hey.
Oh,
but, yeah,
God, I'm gonna be a YouTube sensation now.
Hey, AfterBuzz TV. But the dance was nice to see him really just letting loose a little bit. But then they were telling these guys how they were gay, and it was like, and I trust.
It took a long time to get there. You know, it was 2 minutes in before it was just like, we're gonna tell everybody they're gay when they sit down. It was a long time, just like, let's get to that beat if we're just gonna work that.
Yeah.
And then every show they do now, they really have been milking it for probably the past decade even, is anytime they do a show, a talk show thing.
There's always a talk show in every episode.
It's and guess what they have? A production manager. They always have a production manager.
Oh, Vanessa Bayer, once again, as like the straight girl.
Right. Yeah. And so, or like example, when they do the Japanime show, Terrence thing, you know, and they have the teacher at Michigan State who's like, no, you guys are stupid.
Yeah.
It's just a little side thing, but it's like, it's a nice thing to have, and I get it, but at the same time, it's just like when you do it every time, it just loses a little bit.
Well, do you have any suggestions for them? Maybe they don't go production. Maybe they actually.
Well, I mean, my suggestion would have just
stick to the talk show format, right? And
my suggestion would have just get right to the point. We don't need this. We don't need 45 seconds of character development when you're playing two gay guys.
Jokes, like definitely.
Yeah.
Hit your jokes, hit your first beat, hit your second beat, and then come through.
And so get on there, and then maybe have somebody come on as Little Richard.
Yeah.
You know, and tell him he's gay or something. And then you have, you know, I don't know. Then bring Train on. But I'm saying there's a lot of ways to go, and it just seems like, well, let's just do this because we always do this. And that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, the talk show format is something that they're going to keep going with, but there's only so many different things that you can do with that, so we get it.
Yeah. In the 90s, I remember their big thing was always they'd do panel talk shows. So there'd always be the host, and there'd be 4 people. And that was their big thing in the 90s, and it didn't completely work that well either.
What I'd like to see, and maybe we'll see it in next week's episode or the one with Bieber, is when Will Ferrell was there was a lot of there was a lot of game show play, you know, Alex Trebek and all of these individual game shows, which are great because not only are you participating in the show, there's jokes landing, and you're able to, you know, really develop those characters because of the way that they're positioning or the way their names are written. There's just
and there's a very set when you're doing a game show. There's a very set rhythm.
Yeah,
you know, you're gonna have 1, 2, and then your third beat is the lightning round or whatever it is. There's not a lot of room, so you have a lot of opportunities to play because there's all these constraints.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of that, but you know, it just seems like the talk show thing is working. I at first when I saw MLK in the first sketch, I thought it was supposed to be Steve Harvey, but they'd already done that one. But I guess that's just me.
That's probably why he walked to the door and announced, "It is me, the ghost of Martin Luther King."
Yeah, it took me a minute to get that.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, Martin Luther King, I got it. But yeah, I think overall, it was decent just to see Adam Levine playing a gay guy. I was surprised he wasn't going to be. I thought initially he was going to be in a dress just because. Oh, sidebar by the way, he's a very well dressed man. He had all like the, you know, he had the red T-shirt on, the stripes. It was like he had been paid by Abercrombie and Fitch, or I don't know who was a good dresser, but
well, I mean, he might just have a personal stylist. You know, there's a lot going on there in that Hollywood.
Yeah, it was like he looked. Every scene that he was in, even if it was like a nerdy or crazy character, he was very well dressed. I didn't know if that was just
kind of a weird personal bridge that I can mention Adam Levine. After I moved here, this was about 4 years ago, and I started at the Groundlings. I went across the street. Across the street from the Groundlings is a very, you know, undescript bar that used to not have a sign back then called the Dark Room. Now it has a sign. Shout out to the Dark Room. It's a cool little place, right?
They got good beer there.
Yeah, so I met a friend there, had just moved here. And who happens to be our bartender? Christina Applegate. It's 100% true.
At the Dark Room, Christina Applegate?
Yes. And she keeps talking to us, oh, you want more drinks? And she's playing with us, and I'm just like kind of stunned, like, that has to be Christina Applegate. Of course, we later got it confirmed from the other bartender that she actually is really good friends with her and just kind of does it for fun every once in a while.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
She's been an actor her whole life. She's never had to do a regular job. So I'm sure it's like, yeah, I want to go sweep up at Walmart.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a blast.
Hey, can I put on those Welcome to Walmart stickers on your shirt? Definitely. Welcome to Walmart.
So either way, then who do I see? Hugh Laurie. And I was like, where am I? I'm at this undescript bar on Melrose. Why is everybody showing up
This
on a
episode
Thursday?
brought to you by the Dark Room in Los Angeles.
And then it was topped off with Adam Levine coming in, very drunk and making out with a girl while playing darts. And I was like, I am in LA, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that's like welcome to LA.
Right.
I like that. You know, you never know what you're going to see here in the land of fulfilled promises and dreams. You come here, you get your dream fulfilled.
That's right.
Like you said, your dream was to be on AfterBuzz TV, and you made it.
Exactly.
So,
and to see Christina Applegate, Hugh Laurie, and Adam Levine all in the same bar.
within the span of 1 hour. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm definitely going to have to try that out next week.
Yes.
Maybe we could host an episode there and see what happens.
You know what? That would be fun. Or maybe we'll just go and try to meet women. I don't know.
And drink beers.
Yeah. I guess the final thing we should talk about is Weekend Update.
Weekend Update.
A little short. It's been a little shorter for, I want to say, about a month now.
Yeah, it always comes halfway in between. We know that's going to happen. Seth Meyers Seth Meyers seems to be having the most fun on the show because he can write and not have to. He doesn't do sketches anymore. I don't know if he'll ever come to another sketch, but he enjoys that. So it's fun to see him, and he's laughing and doing when he's doing his jokes.
Yeah.
But what I said last week is I think the golden number is to have 2 guest appearances within Weekend Update. And if you watch this week's episode,
You got your 2.
There were 2.
You got your 2.
Yeah, and Kenan Thompson again with a different character, and
Ray Lewis, except I do a really good Ray Lewis. I do a really good Ray Lewis. If anybody knows anything about Ray Lewis, do you know anything?
I know a little bit about him. The only thing that I know about him that I am is that he's on the Ravens, and I remember that little conspiracy thing that went on a while ago. But we won't mention that for the Baltimore
conspiracy
fans.
thing when
supposedly something happened.
A potential murderer, but that's another story.
Anyways,
in 2000.
Hey, come on now. This is comedy. Anyways,
that's right. Ray Lewis is one of the most oddly intense people I've ever seen.
You've met him too?
I've never met him. No, if I met him, I would not be talking.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't know I'm alive,
you would not be here.
There are 2 people I fear.
Ray Lewis and who else?
And my mother.
Okay, fair enough.
No, but Ray Lewis is like, that's the one thing he didn't get with the impression. It was very much a Kenan voice, okay? And he was doing the crying. But Ray Lewis, that's what I'm saying. I've never seen somebody so wildly emotional for really no reason. Like, he'll talk about anything.
Does he cry that often? Or are you just saying he's intense?
He's the most intense person I've ever seen talk. He did a biography thing where they did an hour biography, and so most of it was an interview. If you ever see interviews with him, you have to watch it because they can tell anything. They can talk about his family history, and he talks like this, and everything is so intense. But then I got it. And they can talk about going
not like a wrestler.
Oh my God, it's like a wrestler, but it's real.
But it's for wrestlers, kind of take it to a whole nother level, which Macho Man Randy Savage.
There's no ooh yeah brothers and pointing and stuff like that or camera takes. He's talking on the edge of losing everything.
Wow.
And so please, I was waiting for him to break. You know, when he was talking about crying and stuff, I was like, come on, Kenan, bring in the real Ray Lewis,
real deal.
Because Ray Lewis is nuts.
I did like the fact that he had those big black things under his eyes that, you know, he probably doesn't even really need them, but it's become his go-to as far as who Ray Lewis is. Hey, good luck. Next week, by the way, is the Super Bowl. We'll see if he wins. I'm sure you're going to see some more antics because I think he's retiring.
Oh, God.
So that may be the final.
There he is,
right out there on the screen. That may be the final time we see Ray Lewis impersonation on SNL. And the other character that we saw was Ariana Huffington.
Yeah, by Nassim Pedrad.
She does that pretty well. She seems to have that down, but it was
my little schmoogina boogina, and then I kind of say something. They get their little politics in. It's not a bad package.
Yeah, she called him Sex Myers. I thought that was funny. And there was a couple funny jokes there. There was one that I took offense to. It was about the tacos in Philadelphia. They're making tacos out of bacon, and he said, no matter how good it tastes, you're still in Philadelphia. And you know what? That's not a bad place to be out there, everyone. So just take that to heart. But anyways,
I've never been to Philadelphia in my life, but then again, I've always been happy.
Yeah. Oh, well, if I ever make it back there, you can be the first to visit. I'll send you a Christmas card.
I did learn because they did the map take. I was like, wow, Philadelphia's really down there on that southwest or southeast border there.
Tri-state area, baby. It's got New York City, Philadelphia, Washington D.C. Come on now.
Cool.
So another joke that I liked was the Chase ATMs are now giving you $1 and $5, which I think is interesting. But
what does that say about our economy getting back together?
What is that?
And then they said and coins.
And coins. Like,
So
who needs coins? Who's gonna take out, $3.27?
Yeah, they charge you $5 for the bank transaction
to pay for that McDouble, which are now no longer $1, by the way. They only have cheeseburgers if you go to McDonald's.
And Wendy's, price, right size, no dollar menu.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was a dollar millionaire for a long time. I am off the chain right now.
I know about that, but Wells Fargo is actually borrowing money from you, so that's
which was a fun joke.
Yeah, it was fun. That was the highlight of my weekend update. Oh, and the apps for apes with dirty screens. Now they're giving iPads to apes to play with, and then it showed the screen all dirty because you know how apes sometimes throw things.
When I heard that, I didn't even hear that joke mostly because I heard they were giving iPads to apes, and I was like, aren't there still starving kids in like Detroit?
Yeah.
And they're giving apes iPads? Like, what is going on in America?
There's laptops in third world countries, but now we have apps in the United States.
Yeah.
And then we have homeless people like right around the corner over here.
Right. Fiscal crisis, but it's like, oh, we need more iPads for these apes.
More iPads. And they're not, they're not cheap. Those are about $500. And
no, because you're looking at one right now.
You're looking at one right now, and if you're watching us from home, it's suede. And it has a blue cover, which is
turquoise. I'll call that turquoise.
Turquoise, and that actually shows you that I'm very similar to Adam Levine, and I'm okay with my sexuality. I'm an all-American dude.
You sure are.
With a metrosexual twist.
And a Jason Mraz hat away from a perfect impression.
And you, my friend, are living your dream here at AfterBuzz, which I'm a huge fan of that. One other joke that I wanted to bring back was that they mentioned as you get older, your wedding band does not fit. Did you see that joke?
Oh, about, the fatter people are happier?
Yeah. And so basically, if your spouse is a huge, disgusting slob, that means you're happy. I thought that was pretty funny. That's like middle America.
True.
But, blame it on the portion size.
Well, it's so warm just to give up, though, isn't it? You know? Just,
so once you get in there and you cuddle and you start spooning, you're just like, all right, why not put more warmth in there?
Just 2 peanut M&Ms in a bed, right?
Yep. They melt in your mouth, not in your hands.
Well, what did you think of our musical guest, Mr. Kendrick Lamar? I'd never heard of him.
I had never heard of him. At first, when I saw him, I know that there's this new MC or rapper. Is he called a rapper? Is he hip-hopper? Is he MC?
They're just rappers. I think MC is like 91.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen off the hip-hop scene a little bit, but I'm looking to get back into it, so if you know anybody, let me know. But I thought the performance itself was pretty cool. It was a little, apparently he's based out of L.A. I wonder if he's connected to the Odd Future crew, which is kind of like...
I mean, he had the Compton hat on. I don't know if they're from Compton, but I mean, he definitely had the Compton hat on. It was the LA feel.
I enjoyed it. It was cool. The blue lighting behind him gave it that cool cinematic aesthetic feel. And, it was enjoyable. I'm not going to go buy the album, but I enjoyed his performance. I was reading somewhere that it was quoted as one of the best performances of the year, although there's only been 2. So, if you like rap music, you probably like this guy. If you like folk, you probably like the Lumineers. But I think overall it was one of my predictions last week was that there was going to be some sort of Kardashian tie-in. But just because the guy's named Lamar, I thought that maybe it would lead towards Lamar Odom.
Yeah, but they didn't give him anything to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed him. I was really big into the rap in the early to mid, even into the late 90s, but definitely early to mid 90s. And he definitely had that feel. Obviously, the second song he did was a cover of Anytime Any Place by Janet Jackson.
Poetic justice. Give justice to poems.
That's right. So he had that jazz feel that was very heavy in the 90s and stuff like that. So I really liked it. He had a really nice flow. So I might look up his stuff. I think he seemed like a real talented dude. And
I love how you quoted that. He had a really nice flow. And it's
on the street. I don't know why you think that's weird.
The way that you put that together, it was like...
it's just like he spits hot fire.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
He spit all over that mic. Nice. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would definitely take someone's... If you wanted to send me a CD, I would throw that away. Oh, by the way, we'll get back... Actually, this leads into the predictions, I think.
Well, let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, next up we have Justin Bieber hosting.
And musical guest, Justin Bieber.
And Justin Bieber. So I think that Selena Gomez will make an appearance on the show.
Ooh, good prediction. Good prediction.
And going forward, we were talking about the future of hip-hop. There's an indie MC rapper. His name's Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. If you haven't heard about him, check him out. He's going to be on the show at some point because this guy is blown up, and his stuff is really, really good. He's been featured on Ellen a bunch of times, so you're going to be seeing a lot more from that troupe. But if Selena Gomez does not show up on the show, I will put lipstick on. So, and
Okay, Selena Gomez, you put lipstick on.
Yep, write that down
All
because
right.
we're getting a little lackadaisical with our dares.
You got it. Lipstick. Are you gonna wear it for the whole show? Is that what it is?
If
Or are
we-
you just
yeah,
gonna-
if you want me to.
I don't even know if lipstick comes off.
Yeah, you know, I wear lipstick on the show. Whatever.
I mean,
it's all
I know
good.
I know it smudges.
Okay. Hey, I know it gets all over my shirt. My girlfriend wants to know where I've been. Whoa, was that street?
Where I've been. All right, where I buzz.
So what kind of predictions do you have for me today?
You
since
know
it's
what?
Just the two of us.
I think I'm gonna have to come up with a better one than I had because I had the mundane. Because obviously he's going to sing.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. Give me something new.
Well, but it's too obvious. I mean, he's gonna sing. In the opening monologue is what I meant. Let me put that out there. He's singing in the opening monologue.
He is. He has that new song where he talks about I can be your Buzz Lightyear. This isn't going to be a part of my predictions, but
Okay.
I feel like he may do something with Buzz Lightyear.
Okay. I guess we might have to bring it, or I might have to procure one.
Yeah.
But I bet that he plays a girl at some point.
Yeah.
Dressed up as a girl. And if he does not, I will wear a wig for the whole show.
Oh wow, we're
Yeah.
about to have a weird show.
So do you have any wigs?
I have wigs.
Okay.
No, I think so. So yeah, we're gonna have wigs. We're gonna have lipstick. If these
Let's
don't
just
come
turn, and it's gonna be circle.
true. Yeah.
It's gonna be circle work.
Circle work all
Cool,
over
cool.
the place. Circle
right.
work kind of sounds like circle jerk, but
That's
whatever.
what I thought. But you always tell me the street slang.
The last one eats the cookie. So you know, no cookies here today.
That's what I've heard and read
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yes.
Well, for all our friends in Brazil who got that joke, we wish you well. Where can we reach you, Steven, until next time?
All our friends in Thailand out there, you can reach me at Twitter at Stephen Seidel with a PH, and then you can also hit me up at Mick Mayhem Show, and check out my website, StephenSeidel.net, because .com was taken.
Yeah, so don't go to StephenSeidel.com because that's they're
Yeah.
looking for a pedophile on that one.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Whoa, take it easy.
you can always reach me at my website, Matthew Kyle, MATTHEWKYLE.com. I always got something going on, stand up, otherwise.
We have 2 weeks to the next show. Is that correct?
We got 2 weeks to the next
skipping
show.
set or
Well, next Sunday
Super
is a
Bowl.
holiday.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. Is that a holiday?
Yeah, well, it's the domestic violence holiday because it's the greatest day for domestic violence in America.
On Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah.
And is Ray Lewis a part of that? He might be.
Don't you talk about Ray
Hey,
Lewis
just kidding.
there.
That wasn't very nice. I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. We'll see you February 9th for Justin Bieber.
Bieber fever. Be
From
there.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.